Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Ham on Beat, and today we are checking out Death in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, and we're just going to get straight into it.
Ham on the beat!
And let me know what you think of the new setup with this, please. Yeah. This video contains spoilers for the first 5 parts of JoJo's. Perfectly fine, we are up to date. In fact, we've watched part 6, so
Across
that's
the
cool.
JoJo series, many characters have died. In some very specific examples, characters have managed to come back from the brink of death, or even from beyond. What is the reason that
mate,
this is
pretty
possible
ratty,
for
man.
some, but not for others? This is a question I've seen asked across multiple parts of JoJo, so in order to answer it, I will be covering all of the examples together. In this video, I will go over each relevant example of a death in JoJo. I will take into account how the character comes back from death,
Okay.
and how it applies to each situation.
This is going to be quite interesting, actually, yes, because a lot of people do, like, die and come back, and there's all sorts of different circumstances, isn't there? Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
The first thing to understand about death in JoJo is the relationship between the soul and the body. If a body reaches a point where it can no longer sustain life, the soul leaves the body. For a
Right.
short period of time, the soul exists in a state of limbo. It is not inhabiting the body, and it has not yet moved on to the afterlife.
It's in
If somehow the
between.
body is returned to a state of suitability, the soul can return. However, to do this, one must have an intense force of will, or resolve. With enough resolve, a soul can return to the body and come back to life. If a soul does not have enough resolve, or if the body
It'll
is left
just
for too long, the soul will move on.
Go, right.
At the end of part 3, Joseph had a large amount of blood drained by Dio.
Yeah, he did.
And he had also sustained some wounds in his chest and throat. With some medical treatment, a blood transfusion, and pumping of his heart by Star Platinum, he was able to come back. This has drawn a lot of questions from people as to how Joseph could have survived. What most people ignore in this scene is the amount of time Joseph spent in this state. Time is often subjective in manga, but
Yeah, it's very difficult when you're reading it, isn't it? Like, unless someone's actually saying, like he said there, Dio sucked his blood out only 4 minutes ago. So it's stated, so that's fine. But yeah, with manga, time is a bit of a difficult one to try and get. But like you said there, it's only 4 minutes, so it was all done quite quickly.
in this case we have some very precise measurements. From the time when his blood was drained to the time of the scene in the ambulance, a mere 4 minutes had passed.
So that's not long.
The wounds that he had sustained are easily treatable by the SPW agents that were on the scene.
Speedwagon.
And if you compare this to the state that a lot of other characters end up in,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that these wounds are even brought up as an argument at all. The only other thing that Joseph's body needed to be sustainable was its blood. Without blood, Joseph's brain would be deprived of oxygen. However, the time had been short enough since he was attacked that if his blood was given back, his body would still be suitable. So the blood that had just been drained from him was transfused back, straight from Dio's body. To get the blood back into the body,
It was
Jotaro
so
used his
funny when he
stand
was
to pump
pretending to
Joseph's
be
heart.
Dio.
Now that his body was back in good condition, Joseph's soul was able to return. In part 4, Ryohei Higashikata was killed after drinking from a bottle inhabited by the stand Aqua Necklace. When Aqua Necklace enters the body, it can move through all of the fluid within, shredding the body's insides. This causes near instant death. Shortly after he died, Josuke used his stand Crazy Diamond to heal his grandfather. Crazy Diamond restores objects to a previous state. So by healing him, the body was perfectly restored to how it was moments before.
But
However, a limitation of Crazy Diamond is that it cannot bring a person back from the dead. Jotaro tells Josuke that no stand is capable of doing that. This line in particular has gotten me a lot of questions. Despite what a lot of people say, this line is true. No stand ability in the series has a power to
bring
return
people
the
back.
soul back to the body.
right, okay.
Plenty of stands are able to help this process by healing a body, but none can actually control whether the
soul.
soul re-enters.
Right, okay.
The only thing that can influence the return of the soul is the resolve of the soul itself. Simply put, Ryohei did not have the resolve needed to return to his body. People often ask why Jotaro did not perform the heart pumping here, like he had done to Joseph previously. This makes me question whether people actually knew the purpose of the heart pump in the first place. Jotaro pumped Joseph's heart in order for the blood to re-enter his body.
Yeah.
Ryohei had all of his blood.
Already
In
there.
fact, his
Yeah.
body was in absolutely perfect condition. Pumping Ryohei's heart would have done literally nothing in this situation.
Right. Yeah, fair.
Crazy Diamond had already returned the body to a perfectly suitable state. The only reason that Ryohei could not come back was due to lacking the resolve. His soul moved on to the afterlife.
I'm liking these explanations. These are great. It's like, we've had, but that example, yeah, but this person's different to that. And here's why he actually pumped his heart in the first place. And that it's like, it's not just like if Star Platinum just phases his hand into his chest and starts pumping his heart, that it's gonna, like he's saying, he hasn't got as high as a resolve either to actually keep his soul here. So
Later on in Part 4, Okuyasu was injured by one of Killer Queen's bombs. Josuke healed his body soon after, but just like with Ryohei, this is not a guarantee of his revival. We see that he is in a situation where he can join his brother in the afterlife,
but
or
he chooses
return to his body.
not to. Yeah.
In this case, Okuyasu had the resolve to return to his body, and did so. Part 5 showed us a unique scenario when it came to death, which is the involvement of the stand Rolling Stone. This brings up the topic
the Fate.
of fate,
Yeah.
which I have covered in depth
Great video.
in my
Check it
video
out.
on fate in Jojo.
Check that video out.
If you feel confused by the concept of fate, I suggest you check that video out.
Definitely.
Rolling Stone targets people who are fated to die. Once it makes contact with them, they will die there, instead of the time that they were destined
Meant to. Yeah.
If the stand is destroyed, it will no longer pursue the target, and the fate will continue on to what it originally was. What we know from this encounter is that Bucciarati, Abbacchio, and Narancia are all fated to die.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone showed us that Bucciarati's fated death was with his encounter with King Crimson. We'll get to that later. If Rolling Stone had made contact with Bucciarati, Bucciarati would have died there. With Bucciarati dead, the other members of his team never would have been sent on the mission to protect Trish, so Narancia and Abbacchio would not have died. Since Rolling Stone was destroyed, Bucciarati's fate remained as it originally was, which consequently fated Narancia and Abbacchio to die. Abbacchio was killed in a surprise attack, leaving his body unattended for a significant amount of time. By the time the group found him, it was too late. As we saw, his soul accepted death and moved on to the afterlife.
Bye-bye.
Narancia's soul was inside of Giorno's body when it was impaled during a time skip. Gold Experience was used to heal him right after, but as Giorno said, the soul had already left. Narancia lacked the resolve to re-enter the body, leaving it empty. Giorno was then
Sad
able to let his
times.
own soul back in. Bucciarati was gravely wounded by his encounter with King Crimson. Giorno used his stand to restore the body when he found it, and Bucciarati's soul returned to his body. However, Bucciarati's soul seemed to only be puppeting the body, with the body continuing to deteriorate as if it were uninhabited.
Yeah, like there was no healing
The
or
power
anything.
of resolve is often known to bend fate. Bucciarati's particularly strong resolve allowed him to somewhat return to his body. Although since the body was still fated to be dead, it remained in a corpse-like state.
That's what I meant. Corpse-like.
Bucciarati managed to control his body for a couple more days until it started to fail. The soul-swapping power of Chariot Requiem moved his soul temporarily into the body of Diavolo, but after this was reverted, his original body had gone past the point of no return. Without a body to return to, and his goals accomplished, Bucciarati's soul left for the afterlife.
Oh.
I hope that this video gave you an understanding of the concept of death across the series of Jojo.
Mm-hmm.
This was a quick video, but I feel like it just had to be made at this point, with the sheer amount of questions I've received about the subject across various videos. This is another in a series of videos covering often misunderstood
They're all
topics
very good
in
videos.
JoJo.
The Wall Eyes,
If you've
it's got something to do
already
with
had trouble
part
with these
7, so I've
concepts,
not
or
watched
if you
that.
already understand them
But,
and just
yeah.
might be missing one or two
I'll
aspects
still check
of
these
it,
videos out if
then
I'm
I
not watching them,
recommend
though.
you watch the previous videos I've made. If you have another idea for a topic, comment it down below.
So, yeah, that was an interesting one, explaining death and why certain people can come back and certain scenarios and things. That was really cool. Yeah, sorry, a bit anxious because this is like the second time I've uploaded a video like this, and I'm anxious. I want you guys to let me know because I like that I can like pause and talk about stuff now, and yeah. So let me know what you think of this setup. Got the light now, webcam, microphone. I think it's all balanced out. and I'll just move all this rubbish around at some point, and then maybe some stuff on the walls behind. I don't know. And then I can use this setup for live streams as well. Anyway, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, links in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask help channels. Greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much for that. And thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time.